What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Over the last 3 months or so, I've received a ton of requests for a setup video and also what I'll call a workflow video. People asking, how do I make the videos? What goes into it? How do I edit? How do I record? All that kind of stuff. And my plan today was to make a video showing why I have things set up the way I do, so a setup video, but also explaining how I actually use each of these things to record and to upload to YouTube. What I found was that this was going to take about 45 minutes and nobody's going to want to watch a 45-minute video explaining how I make YouTube videos. So what I decided to do instead is make a series so that you can skip to the parts that you're interested in instead of having to watch stuff that you already know. So the first part of the series we're going to do today, and that's going to be a setup video. But instead of just showing video of all the stuff that's sitting on my desk, what I'm going to do is explain why it's set up the way it is and how it makes it easier for me to make videos. Because the main reason I set up things the way I do is to actually increase the enjoyment of making a YouTube video and decrease the work. So we're going to start off today with the setup video. Part 2 is going to be about recording, and part 3 is going to be about editing and uploading. So enjoy part 1. I'm going to apologize beforehand about the audio quality. I'll be recording the entire video on a Sony Handycam with the built-in microphone. The quality is not going to be as good as you're used to on this channel, but that's just the way it's got to be for this video. So thanks for watching and enjoy the setup video. Alright guys, this is basically the setup. So, as you can see, I tried to keep everything as close together as possible so that when I'm sitting at this desk, I can play games, I can reach the game console, I can get a new controller, I can reach my headset, I can record my audio on my microphone, I can reach my computer. Everything is within arm's reach so that when I am playing, I can also always be recording and doing whatever I need to do. So let's get started over here on the left. As you can see, I got a couple of consoles set up right now, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I do keep my router and a digital optical switch up here so that when, let's say I want to play a little 360, I can easily swap, a new console in and out with minimal difficulty. Whenever I'm playing online, I always go hardwired for my console connection. I find that I just get less lag that way. If somebody's using the microwave, it's not going to cause me to lag out of a game. Stuff like that. Hardwired is the way to go. I don't love this router. It works okay. My Astro A50s headsets, I love these things. They really allow me to sound whore really well in Call of Duty. They sound great. They don't work awesome with the Xbox One yet. Hopefully when the Xbox One headset adapter is released, that will change. As you can see down here, for both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I keep an extra controller charging at all times so that, if my controller dies, I can just grab the next one and keep gaming. I don't have to worry about that stuff. Again, all within arm's reach. Don't have to worry about it. This cord over here. So this is a light that I use for face cam recording. So when I'm doing a video where I'm using my webcam, you'll often see me using that light. What this is basically one of those Japanese paper lights. I like those things for my face cam videos because they diffuse the light. It doesn't cause a lot of glare on my face. And I have a Philips Hue bulb in it, so I can actually change colors. Here, let me grab my phone. And you can see as I kind of move this thing around, that thing will change colors. Those Philips Hue bulbs are pretty expensive, but those lamps are super cheap. So if you want to do cheap video, those lamps do a pretty good job because they diffuse the light really well. So that pretty much does it for the consoles. The splitter up there works really well. It's not the most elegant solution. As you can see, I keep it labeled because you can't really tell what's plugged into what. It does a really good job. So let's move on over to the TV. So as you can see, I have a small TV set up on my desk. It is perfect for this situation. It's the PlayStation branded TV. I don't even know if they sell this thing anymore. And it's not so much the TV itself, it's the size of the TV. So since I want the thing close to my monitor, close to my computer so that I can record and play at the same time, I find the thing is actually a pretty elegant solution. While I don't love the monitor itself, the size is perfect. As you can see, we got the Kinect and the PlayStation Eye on top of it. And below it, we have the Game Capture HD. So this is the Elgato Game Capture device. I keep it down here and out in the open so that I can just switch out these HDMI cables. Better solution would be to have a HDMI splitter. Those things cost a lot of money though, and I'm saving for a wedding, so not in the cards right now, hopefully after the wedding. I just, this is the PlayStation, this is the Xbox One. It's labeled splitter. That's because that cable goes to the HDMI splitter that strips out the HDCP for me. Let's look at the monitor. So up here we have a webcam. This is the Logitech C920 webcam. If you're in the market for a webcam, this is the one to get. Don't worry about anything else. The price isn't that much. I think it's around $120, $130. Just bite the bullet, get the good one. It is well worth it. I use a Blue Yeti microphone. I kind of have it set up on this boom with a shock mount so that when I'm doing kind of unboxing and stuff, I do them down here on the desk. That way this thing doesn't kind of hear all the vibrations that are happening on the desk itself. Next we have, okay, so the monitor. Let me talk about monitors for a minute because this one actually relates to the quality of your video. When I am editing, I do it on this monitor. This isn't a super high quality monitor. The Mac monitor is a very high quality monitor. It's an IPS display, it's very good color, very good contrast, but here's what I found out. When I edit on this one, I will start editing so that the blacks will be too black for a monitor like this, and everything will look very dark, and you won't be able to see the detail in the dark areas of a game. If I edit on this one and edit for the lower quality monitor, then everybody can see the video properly. Looks fine on a good monitor, looks fine on a bad monitor. So that's why I use two different monitors. I know that a lot of people will record on one monitor and then you'll see that their video looks washed out on your iPad or on your iPhone. I think that's really due to the fact that they're editing on a certain monitor and not looking at that video on any other kind of monitor. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your first setup. Down here you can see the camera I use for most of my stuff. The problem with using this camera, this is a Rebel T2i. No autofocus. So if you're doing something like this where you're moving the camera in and around a lot, you'll find that the autofocus doesn't really work for you. So that's why I'm recording on a small Handycam instead of that guy. Down here you're going to see my little wiring mess. This is my USB hub, and this has everything plugged into it from, let's say, hard drives, which you're going to need plenty of if you start video recording, to my mic up there, all sorts of stuff plugged into here. I keep it out in the open because I'm often putting new devices in, taking other devices off. Instead of having to get behind my desk or on the floor somewhere, I just find it more convenient to have that out in the open. I do the same thing with my power. See, I have a big battery backup power supply. Keep it right up on the desk so that I can just plug stuff in, unplug stuff. Not the nicest looking thing, but man, it's a hell of a lot more convenient than getting under the desk every time. So that's pretty much it for that. Again, we've got a lot of hard drive here. Basically, anytime you're working with video, the files are just so immense and you go through them so fast that if you want to hold on to some stuff, you're going to want some external hard drives. They're pretty cheap though, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. Here we got the MacBook Pro. So this is what I use to record. This for you might be your laptop, your PC, or whatever you're using. For me, it just happens to be a MacBook Pro because that's the computer I had when I decided to start my YouTube channel. Couple of notes about the MacBook Pro. It is fairly easy to use. It comes with iMovie, and you can easily use iMovie for your entire YouTube career. It's a pretty powerful editing software for basically free. I know a lot of people use Windows Movie Maker at the beginning, then they move on to Sony Vegas on the PC side, even get into the Adobe stuff. That's just not the route I've taken. I went the Mac route because that's a computer I had when I started. I will kind of point you toward headphones. So headphones, I do two things after I'm done editing each video. First thing I do is I watch the entire video on this monitor with these headphones. I also have a DAC, and basically what I'm trying to find out is, are there any buzzes or pops or anything like that during the video? The reason I do that is because if somebody's going to be watching my video with high-end headphones or anything like that, I want it to be an enjoyable listening experience. The second thing I do when I'm done editing my video is I watch the whole thing on that monitor using the laptop speakers. And that is because just because somebody's listening on their iPhone or their iPad with just a small tinny sounding speaker, I want to make sure that they can hear my voice, they can hear me clearly, and that they can hear everything that's going on in the video. So I find that that's useful. There's been a couple of times where I've had to make edits, remove hum especially. Using this camera in particular, I found that I often have to remove hum from the audio. So what I'll do is I'll use, my good headphones, go into my editing software and start removing the hum. Down here you can see my PSP with its custom case. That's a limited edition wool sock, not available anymore. It's really, really rare. My phones and my Xbox controller. So that pretty much does it. As you can see, I've tried to set up everything so it's all within arm's reach. My philosophy is I don't want YouTube to be work. I want it to be fun. So the more work I have to do, the less fun it is. I want to be able to play the game, edit the footage, and post it on YouTube. And I've set up everything along the way to do exactly that and make it the whole thing as seamless as possible. So in the subsequent videos after this one, in parts 2 and 3, you'll see me kind of go through my workflow and little tricks I've learned over the last year and a half or so that have made it a lot easier. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.